Let's be brutally honest for a second. This is the truth most men ignore, even though they feel it in their gut. You could be the kindest man in the room. You could offer your time, your care, your unwavering consistency. And still, she might not value you. Why? Because in today's emotionally detached dating world, being available, being predictable, and being too nice often works against you. And here's the part that stings a little. The moment you stop caring, the moment you pull away and finally focus on your own life, that's the moment everything begins to change. Suddenly she sees you. Suddenly, the man she ignored starts looking like the man she can't stop thinking about. Why does this happen? Because women, no matter how intelligent or logical, are emotional beings first. They respond to feelings, not logic. And nothing stirs emotion more than contrast, the sudden silence. After your presence, the absence after consistent attention, the space that used to be filled by your energy, now replaced by nothing. Suddenly, you're not easy to reach. You're not trying anymore. You're not checking in. You've become the one thing that stands out in her emotionally noisy world. A man who doesn't need her anymore. Let's break down exactly why this happens and how you, as a man, can reclaim your value without saying a single word. You stopped seeking her approval. This is the first major shift. You stopped seeking her approval. And this isn't just about what you say, it's about your entire energy. When a man constantly seeks a woman's approval, she can feel it down to the core of her intuition. She senses it in the way you phrase your texts, in how quickly you respond, in the way you always say yes, even when you'd rather say no. She sees it when your daily routine quietly shifts to match hers. She knows when she's living rent-free in your mind. At first, she may tolerate it. She might even smile at the extra attention. But deep down, she doesn't respect it. Because women are not wired to respect a man who orbits them. They respect the man who revolves around his own mission. They are emotionally attracted to what challenges their ego, not what caters to it. And this is where everything flips. The moment you stop seeking her approval, something inside her shifts. She doesn't know why it feels different, but it does. Your silence feels louder. Your absence feels heavier. That easy access she once had, gone. And now she's not sure if she still holds that power over you. You're not texting just to check in. You're not calling just to hear her voice. You're not waiting around. You've become less emotionally predictable, and that shakes her. It triggers a part of her that was asleep before. That shift in energy, it's what wakes her up. And the best part? You didn't do it to manipulate. You did it out of growth, out of self-respect, out of understanding your worth. You stopped adjusting yourself to fit into her world, and instead you built your own. Now she doesn't see you as the nice guy. She sees you as the man she can't quite figure out anymore. The man who's now standing on his own. And the irony? That's exactly what draws her back. She's not coming back because you chased. She's coming back because you didn't. She saw other women want you. Now let's talk about something deep, something primal, social proof. One of the most powerful psychological shifts in a woman's mind happens the moment she realizes you're no longer invisible. In fact, other women are noticing you. At first, she may have overlooked you. You were available. You were familiar. You were always there, but now she sees other women giving you the very same energy you once gave her. And that changes everything. Maybe they're laughing at your jokes. Maybe they're liking your photos. Maybe they're messaging you first, touching your arm when they talk, leaning in closer, posting pics with you casually in the background. Whatever it is, it sets off an alarm in her subconscious. She starts asking herself, wait, what did I miss? She doesn't even fully understand why she cares, but she does, because women are wired to desire what is desired by others. And when you become that man, the one women naturally gravitate to, it triggers something deep inside her. It's not always jealousy in the obvious sense. It's curiosity, competition, FOMO, wonder. It's social validation. If other women want you, she begins to wonder if she judged you too quickly, too harshly. And here's the kicker. You didn't even try to rub it in. You didn't flaunt it. You didn't throw it in her face. You just started living. You started shining, confidently, calmly, purposefully, and women took notice. Which means, so did she. Now she's scrolling through your stories, watching who's commenting, wondering who that girl was in the photo, checking if you're online, even if she doesn't message you. She might even casually drop a, "Hey stranger," just to see if she still has access. And that's all because you stopped proving your worth and let the world recognize it instead. You shifted your energy elsewhere. This is the game changer, one of the most underrated moves a man can make when a woman isn't interested. Stop trying. Shift your energy, not toward revenge, not toward bitterness, but toward yourself. You stop waiting. You stop hoping. You stop trying to figure her out, and you start figuring you out. You take all that emotional energy and reroute it into your gym sessions, into your business, into your mental clarity, into your peace, into becoming a man who doesn't chase because he's too busy building. Not to get her attention, not to make her jealous, but because you finally realize your energy is currency, and you've been spending it somewhere it's not appreciated. And here's the part most men miss. That shift, she feels it. Women are deeply intuitive. She may not be talking to you anymore, but when your emotional current stops flowing her way, it leaves a void. And she feels that shift in the silence. You're not bitter. You're just focused now. She sees it in your posture. She feels it in your tone. You've changed. You're not the guy she ignored anymore. You're the guy who moved on. And when you move on with grace and purpose, not rage, that's when she starts to question everything. Was I wrong about him? Did I misjudge him? Why doesn't he look at me the same anymore? Because your energy, your presence has evolved. And women feel energy before they ever admit it out loud. And now, she's not the one who holds power anymore. You are, because now your attention is a privilege, not a given. Here's the truth. The moment you pull back, she notices. Not because she's monitoring you like a hawk, but because your absence suddenly creates a space where your presence used to live. Where once you might have double texted or liked her stories or asked how her day was going, now there's just silence, a void. And that void, it speaks volumes. When a man stops chasing, it disrupts a woman's emotional rhythm. She begins to wonder, wait, did I do something wrong? But why did his energy change? That shift is powerful. It doesn't mean you're being manipulative. It means you're setting boundaries. You're no longer offering your emotional energy on a silver platter to someone who's not reciprocating. And if she truly valued your attention, that absence becomes a mirror. A mirror that reflects how much your energy once mattered. And in that reflection, she may start to see your worth more clearly, perhaps for the first time. Because when you stop chasing, you signal that your self-respect matters more than her validation. That's when things start shifting in your favor. Confidence is magnetic, but there's a specific kind of confidence that emerges. When a man stops chasing, it's quiet, grounded and deeply secure. You're no longer trying to impress. You're not trying to win approval. You're just being calm, collected, sure of your worth. And women can feel that. It radiates in the way you carry yourself, the unhurried tone of your voice, the way you make eye contact without flinching, the way you take your time replying because you're not desperate for attention. This shift in energy is what stoic men master. You become a presence that's not easily shaken or swayed. And that presence, it becomes incredibly attractive. Because now, you're not just another guy hoping for her attention. You're a man who clearly doesn't need it to feel complete. That kind of confidence. It's rare, and rare things, they always stand out. This one's subtle but very real. When a woman senses you've pulled back and you're no longer seeking her validation, it can stir something deep within her. She might begin to ask herself, was I not good enough? Or why did he lose interest in me? Now this isn't about playing games or causing harm. It's about shifting the dynamic. When you were constantly pursuing her, you were feeding her sense of desirability. But once you step back, that external source of validation disappears, and she's left to confront her own insecurities. Ironically, this can make her value your presence even more because she realizes it wasn't guaranteed. She realizes your attention was a gift, not an obligation. And when something once abundant suddenly becomes scarce, it forces people to reevaluate just how much it meant to them in the first place. We live in a world obsessed with instant access. Everyone wants to know everything now. But when you stop chasing, you become unpredictable. You become a mystery. And mystery, my friend, is intoxicating. Suddenly, she's not sure what you're thinking. She doesn't know where you stand. She wonders if you're talking to someone else, focusing on your purpose, or simply losing interest. That uncertainty plays on her mind, not because you're manipulating her, but because you're no longer putting your cards on the table. And here's where your power multiplies. Mystery builds tension. It creates a sense of allure, of depth. Women aren't drawn to men who constantly seek approval. They're drawn to men who are comfortable in their solitude. Men who have layers. Men who don't reveal everything all at once. When you become that man, you're not just attractive. You become unforgettable. When you stop chasing, you create a shift in energy. Suddenly, she starts to feel what it's like to not be pursued. And if she truly has an interest in you, even if it was buried beneath pride, ego, or uncertainty, that interest begins to surface in surprising ways. You'll start to notice little shifts in her behavior. She posts more often, hoping you'll notice. She replies quicker, laughs harder at your jokes, asks more questions. She may even bring up old memories or drop hints about things you once discussed. Why? Because deep down, she wants that attention back, but now she has to earn it. The dynamic changes. You've gone from the pursuer to the prize. That makes your attention 10 times more valuable. She's no longer the one deciding how this story unfolds. Now she's trying to re-enter your world. It could be your career, your health, your craft, your business, your spiritual path, whatever it is. Your focus becomes magnetic. Why? Because most men are distracted. They chase validation, not vision. But not you. Not anymore. When you redirect that energy inward, you build momentum. You build a life so full, so rich, so purpose-driven that anyone who enters it must add value, not just soak it up. Women notice this. They're drawn to it. A man who knows where he's going doesn't have to convince anyone to follow. His life speaks for itself. And if she sees you walking that path, head held high, passion in your eyes, no longer seeking her approval, she won't just notice. She'll admire you. This is the final and most powerful shift. When you stop chasing, you evolve. You go from being just another guy to becoming a man of gravity, someone who pulls people in without even trying. You develop what most never will, unshakable self-worth. You no longer rely on external validation to feel seen or desired. You are whole, focused, at peace. And that energy, it's irresistible. Not because you're trying to impress her, but because you're not trying at all. You're simply living. And the more authentically you live, the more attractive you become, not just to her, but to the world. So remember, chasing may get you attention, but walking away, doing so with calm, confident grace, that's what makes you unforgettable. And in a world where everyone is trying to be seen, the man who doesn't chase becomes the one they chase.